I used to read all my manga online, but after collecting for a while, I realized some series feel different when you have the physicals. And with these, I actually get it now. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Just back in another video. Alright, y'all. So today we're going to be doing a video that I've been thinking about for a minute. I kind of made something similar to this a while ago, and it's basically these are some of the series that I think are just better to have either physically and to collect them physically over reading them online. So quick little backstory. I have been reading manga for years, not too long. I think I started around 2018, 2019, around there. And I was strictly reading digitally. I wasn't collecting manga at any means. I wasn't really into collecting manga because I just didn't really want to at that point. So I just read all of my series digitally, and I still read a vast majority of my series digitally, even though I do have a collection of over 800 at this point. So with that being said, now that I have started collecting, I've been collecting for a while now, there's some series that they just hit different when you have the physicals in your hand. So that's what we're going to talk about. So the first one I'm going to talk about is specifically Parasite, the full color editions. So with Parasite, they do have a few different printings, right? They have the original printing. I think it's what, 3-6, I think it's 9 volumes. I might be completely off, but it's the original printing of a Parasite. Then they also have the full color editions. And then they also have, I think they re-released a newer printing of a Parasite, but that one is in black and white as well. So the ones that I'm talking about are actually the hardcover full color editions. Parasite is one of those series where to me, it's like a beginner horror series, I like to tell people, and it's so good. The story itself is amazing. And when you get the full color editions, it really brings the story to life. Because especially if you're someone like me, I originally saw the anime for Parasite. So I watched the anime, and then I decided after I saw these editions were coming out to pick up the full color editions, really because they actually spell Parasite and because they're color. There's not too many manga that you can get that is full color, but the enhancement of the full color editions is crazy. Like, it really is, like, it brings the story to life, and the fact that it really feels like you're just watching the anime again. And what I like about it is that I actually like this type of color in my manga series. So typically you'll probably see manga series that do have color pages, and those are obviously normally like, very glossy printed color pages. These obviously cannot be like that. They've probably been a lot more expensive. So this is more muted, I guess you could say. I don't know like the right term for it, but the color works. Like, everything feels rich, it feels vibrant, but it's not HD, I guess you could say. I guess like that's the word I'm kind of looking for. It's not like that very bright glossy. It's more muted, but not in a bad way. Like, it really is amazing. On top of everything, the full color editions, they really do feel like a premium edition manga. Now me, I have steered away more towards hardcovers. I'm not really feeling hardcovers that much anymore. But with Parasite specifically, I do not regret this at all. I love the way this feels. It's not too heavy. The covers itself look beautiful, and everything just opens well. There really is no gutter loss, if you know what I'm talking about, like in terms of like more omnibus editions and stuff like that. It's beautiful. I really do love this edition. And again, for me, it really was like I was experiencing the anime again, and I think that's what I truly loved about it. Now, another series that I think it's much better to have the physicals over just reading digitally, I think, is Happiness by Shuzo Oshimi. Now, Happiness is a great vampire series. A lot of people like to compare this to Tokyo Ghoul. I personally don't. There is a comparison in the beginning, but this is a much darker story. So the thing with Happiness is that it's a very quick read. And what I really like about that is, even though it's a quick read in general, whether you're reading digitally or the physicals, I think you can appreciate it a little bit more and slow it down a little bit more when you have the physicals versus just essentially just scrolling on, your iPad, your tablet, or phone, or whatever, your computer, or whatever you're reading on. I think you can really appreciate the pacing of the series more when you have the physicals, when you know, okay, I just finished a book, let me move on to the next one, or let me slow it down if you realize you're probably going a little too fast. And the reason I say Happiness is a quick read is because it has this weird ability where once you start reading, it's very hard to stop. And I really do like that about it. So I think especially if you're reading digitally, 'cause I have read both digitally and physically for happiness. And yeah, I think when I read it digitally, I think I read it like in a night, honestly. I just kept scrolling like a madman. When I read it physically, I did find myself taking my time a lot more and really appreciating the artwork that Shuzo Jimi has drawn, and it's amazing. This series is very, very dark. What I do like about it is the fact that in this series, every character is trying to find their own version of happiness, right? So, with that being said, they go to some very dark and very insane lengths to keep their happiness or even to achieve their happiness. And the thing with happiness is that I really do think you get a lot more absorbed by just the world building and the character development in this series, especially when you're reading it physically and it's almost hits a little harder because you're probably gonna take your time a little bit more. Me, I know I read normally faster on the screen, so with this one, owning this physically gives me a different appreciation for the series because I really got to see the nuances of the character development because everything that they go through is an insane, just heart-wrenching story. And that's what I really do think makes this story so good. And it's the simple fact that you can't put it down. This is one of those series that it's 10 volumes, but I think most people are going to finish this within a weekend. Now, the next series, I have talked about it a bunch before, but with this specific type of video, I couldn't do this video and not include this. And once I show you, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And that is a Witch Hat Atelier. Witch Hat Atelier has to be in this type of video for the simple fact of the artwork. The artwork for Witch Hat Atelier, I honestly think it's the best in my entire collection. I've said this before, and I really do mean this. For me, the story kind of comes second. The story is good, don't get me wrong, especially if the anime just dropped. If you're watching the anime, that first episode was insane. I've watched, I think 2 episodes so far. The anime's hitting. But back to the manga version of it. The thing with Witch Hat Atelier, it's a story about a girl who just wants to be a witch. She always wanted to be a witch and she needs to basically go and learn now. The thing with this is the story is good. It's nothing groundbreaking, but I don't care too much about it, if I'm being honest. I really care more about the artwork of A Witch Hat Atelier as well as just the world building aspect of it. I really do like seeing the more slice of life, mundane things in this world where we see different applications of magic. We see witches developing different tools and such. And it's, I think, an amazing, amazing read that really would not go appreciated as much if you're getting if you're reading it digitally. If you're reading it digitally, you're at the behest of basically whatever screen you're reading on, right? If you're not reading on a high-res screen, it's not going to look as well. You can make that argument with like the printings of manga and whatnot, but I think I'm more up to date. I have 14 volumes of Witch Hat Atelier, and all 14 volumes look amazing. And now that they have released the Grimoire editions, I've seen the Grimoire editions on Reddit, and I'm actually glad I passed on it. One, it's hardcover, but two, the covers don't hit the same as, to me, the originals. Like the regular soft covers, they hit so different and it's so good. Each character is very well prominent on each cover, almost like Bleach. Everything about Witch Hat Atelier just is designed to pull you in. It's designed to really make you get absorbed in this world and really be on a journey with Coco, who is the MC, because you're also learning as she's learning. You're seeing the world of Witch Hat Atelier through her eyes and seeing everything just unfold in a world that essentially was just supposed to be kind of more basic fantasy because witches were around the human population, but they weren't. Now we're seeing, the ins and outs and the trials and tribulations that they go through. And that's really not appreciated when you're just reading it digitally, I feel. Witch Hat Atelier is by far my favorite just looking manga in my entire collection. The last series I'm going to talk about is Dorohedoro. So with Dorohedoro, it's insane. This for me it's also about the artwork, but in a different aspect. So with Witch Hat Atelier, everything is very open. Everything is very free. You really do see big, large manga panels, and you get to see everything and all the little details in them, right? With Dorohedoro, everything is very compact and very dense. But the thing with this series is that a lot of the stuff is still very clear. That's my issue with a lot of shonen, just like battle action series in general, where a lot of the times everything gets so compact and so dense, you can't really appreciate what's going on. You can't really see what's going on that well. So the fights, especially for me, manga fights, in my opinion, they are okay if they're like very huge and bombastic. But with Dorohedoro, even though it's extremely dense, it's extremely grungy, you can still make out everything. I'm gonna say about 80%. I'm not gonna straight up lie to ya. There are plenty of manga panels in this that are just like, you have no idea what's going on. That be the case, that's kind of okay for this particular series, for the simple fact that that's like the style of Dorohedoro. Dorohedoro is supposed to be a dark fantasy series that's very, grungy, is very like underneath, like I want to say almost like sewer type of series, and that's what you come to expect. So when you see things that don't really make that much sense and it's dense and action packed like that, you kind of understand it. You kind of let it go. It's not 100% good, but for me anyway, I think owning the physicals for Dorohedoro, you really do get to appreciate the world, because this is another series where the world building is really what draws you in. And honestly, that's kind of like what I really enjoy about manga and anime in general. I love when a series really takes it almost a step back, maybe has a more generic story, I want to say, and then has incredible world building where I actually like want to live there. I want to really see what's going on, the ins and outs of this world. I really do love series like that. So things like Witch Hat Atelier, things like Dorohedoro, those are just up my alley. So this is one of those series that I really do feel it's better to own physically for that reason, because it's just, you really almost feel like you're part of, what's his name? Is it, I can't pronounce it. Is it Kaimon? I think it's Kaimon. You really get to feel like you're part of Kaimon's crew, especially once they really start diving deep into the different characters. It does get a little bit confusing with the story, don't get me wrong. Dorohedoro, as much as I love it, it does have its faults, rightfully so. But I think this story goes much more appreciated when it's read physically versus reading it digitally. So those are all the series that I wanted to show you today. And basically is what I said. I honestly think in my collection, these are better to own than to read digitally, especially coming from someone like me who's primarily read only digital, and I technically still primarily read digital. But at the collector in me, as you see, I've accumulated over 800 volumes of manga. I'm a huge collector. I've been a collector of many things. I've collected, my main collections are comics and pins and obviously manga now. So I really do love this hobby, and this gave me a different outlook on just reading manga in general, because when I read these, even though they're not necessarily my favorite series I've ever read, I appreciated them more, because all four of these series, I've read them digitally to near completion before I got the physicals. And rereading them as physicals, I really do enjoy them a lot more. So that's everything I just want to talk with y'all today. That's it for this video. If you guys made this far, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here and you like my content and you like what I'm doing, consider subscribing, leaving a like, hit the bell so I can post another video. Follow me on Twitter, links will be in the description. This is your boy Just. I'm off this.